Hi everybody, welcome to Art Recycled. Today we are going to do a heart for Valentine's Day. Now, not just any heart. This heart project is based on the art of Jim Dine. Jim Dine was a pop artist who loved to do hearts, and he did them over and over and over again. And a lot of them were painted or drawn, and they kind of have this black type of fuzzy look to them. I use this project to teach my kids about dividing up shapes, and we also talk about color theory with blending colors. What we use is we use pencil, we'll need a ruler, we use some type of black tool. It could be a black crayon or a black colored pencil or Sharpie. And then we use oil pastels. Now, the type of oil pastels I'm going to use today, though, are water-soluble oil pastels. That means that they're going to turn to paint. Now, you don't need that. You could just use regular oil pastels, or you could even use crayons or colored pencils or markers. This is just what I'm choosing to use today. The fun thing about these portfolio series water-soluble oil pastels is kids love coloring them, and then they love taking water and a brush and going over them and watching them turn to paint, which kind of makes the color blending here a little bit smoother. So let's go ahead and learn how to make this cool heart in the style of Jim Dine. All right, so to go ahead and get started, I'm going to start with a pencil and my ruler, and I'm going to teach you how to draw a heart. So the way I teach my second graders to draw a heart, if they don't know how, is I tell them to put their finger in the middle of the paper and then look between their finger and the top edge of the paper. And we're going to make a dot in the middle between my finger and the top edge of the paper because we're trying to get our heart big, right? So basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to size it large. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my finger and touch this dot and go all the way down to the bottom of the paper basically and make a dot right below that. Now touching this upper dot here, I'm going to draw diagonally up towards the upper right-hand corner. Then I'm going to make a big turn, as big as I can, and shoot back down to the bottom dot. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Touch the middle, shooting towards the upper left corner, go up, make a big turn, go down to the bottom dot. Now that makes my heart as big as it can go. I'm going to take my ruler, and here's kind of one big mistake that kids kind of do with this project. After they get the heart drawn, if we don't teach kind of a way to systematically break the heart up, what happens is if they're trying to break it into shapes, typically what I get is this. And then we get a lot of teeny, tiny shapes in there, and we can't blend our colors together in those teeny, tiny shapes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler and we're going to kind of have a system to break this up, right? So I'm going to take my ruler, and it could go sideways, it could go vertically, it could go diagonally, but I'm going to break the heart into two shapes. So I'm going to lay it across, and then I'm going to draw from one end to the other, and then remove the ruler. Now my heart is two different shapes, right? Now I'm going to look for the bigger of the two shapes. This is the bigger of the two shapes. I'm going to take my ruler, position it any way I want inside this shape. Maybe I'll go this way now, and divide the bigger shape again into two shapes. Draw. Now I have a rule though. When we divide this bigger shape into two shapes, I can't cross any lines. So I can't cross this line, and I can't cross the edge of the heart there. Now I'm going to look at these three shapes and say, which one is the biggest shape? It's this one. I'm going to divide this one in two. Maybe I'll divide it this way. Same rule applies. I can't crisscross any lines that already exist. Now I'm going to look at these four shapes. What is the biggest shape? Well, it's either this one or this one. I'm just going to pick one, and I'm going to divide this shape into two. And I'm going to do that about 3 or 4 more times. All right, so now my heart is broken up into shapes. It kind of looks like shattered glass. It looks really cool. And now none of my shapes are so small that I can't take two colors and blend them together. I'm going to trace it with a Sharpie just so that I can make sure that I can see my lines through the oil pastels. I'm not going to use the black oil pastel because that's going to smear a lot, and this won't smear at this stage. All right, now I could take an eraser and erase the pencil lines. I'm actually going to leave them because, again, my oil pastel is probably going to cover them up. So now what I have is the Portfolio Series water-soluble oil pastels. You could do this with markers. You could do this with regular oil pastels. You could even do this with crayons. So you don't need to have this, but this is what I use with my students. Now, I do this with second grade because we've been studying color. We've been studying primary colors and secondary colors. Now, in this kit, I have more than that, though. I have a pink, I have 2 greens, a light and a dark. I have 2 blues, a light and a dark. I have black, white, brown. And for this project, I'm going to say, don't use black yet. Don't use brown. And don't use white. Your paper is white, right? So I'm going to use the other colors. Now, again, you kind of need to know how colors work. Now, if I'm going to blend 2 colors, obviously if they're of the same hue, like I have a dark green and a light green here, hue means like a color family, like greens or blues or reds, whatever, then I know they're going to work well together. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shape and I'm going to color 1/2 of the shape with one color. And then I'm going to color the other half of the shape with the other color. And I'm going to make sure that they mix in between. Now notice I didn't draw a straight line there between the dark green and the yellow green. I actually want them to mix a little bit. So what I mean is I didn't do this. Like if this was my shape here, I didn't, take my green, draw a straight line there, and then color that in. And then I didn't take my dark green, outline this shape right, draw a straight line there, and then color this in. Because when we turn this into paint, we want these two to blend together. We don't want a straight line there. So you can see that I kind of left it kind of fuzzy and I tried to mix them there in the first place, right? So now I'm going to think of my other colors. So let's say I don't have 2 colors of the same hue. Maybe I'll take blue and purple. Now, how do I know they mix well together? Because I know the color wheel. They're next to each other on the color wheel. They're analogous colors. So analogous means next to. So I'm going to color half dark blue. And again, I'm going to kind of leave that fuzzy, uneven edge there in the middle. And then maybe I'll color the other half purple. Now, a lot of kids ask me about pink. And they say, well, where does pink fall? What can I blend pink with? Well, pink is made with red and white. So it makes sense that whatever color you could combine red with, you could combine pink with. So if I wanted to combine pink with yellow, I'm probably going to get an orange. If I want to combine pink with blue, I'm probably going to get a purpley pink. If I combine pink with violet, I'm probably going to get a magenta color, right? So now you're going to see me pick color combinations that will work, that will blend well together for the rest of these, not using white, brown, or black yet. There we go. So now you'll notice when I was spacing my colors out, I was kind of careful not to put orange next to orange or red next to red, because if I did that, these wouldn't look like separate shapes. They would look like combined shapes. So now I'm ready to start with my water. And all I need is water and a brush, and I'm going to turn this into paint one shape at a time. So as you can see, I can tell that the oil pastel has turned because when it's turned, I don't see any white in that shape anymore. Now I'm going to get the orange wet. You got to rub a little bit too. And then where they meet, I'm going to rub a little bit like this, and you can see that the paint starts to blend. Now, the darker color is always going to be stronger than the lighter color, right? It wants to overpower it. So I always try to make sure I don't drag the paint all the way over to the lighter side like that. And then I just go one shape at a time. I like to start at the top and work my way to the bottom because obviously my arm is reaching across this. And so if I start at the top and work my way to the bottom, then I'm not smearing what I've done down here. Now notice when I'm painting, when I go one shape at a time, I'm really trying to stay in that shape because obviously if you mix complementary colors or colors that are opposites, you're going to get a brown, and that's not going to be the worst thing in the world. I mean, then you have brown in your project and it's okay. That's how you learn. But I'm trying to make sure that like this pink isn't going into that green, because then I would get brown. So in other words, I'm not taking my brush and going like this all the way across, because if I do that, then all your colors are going to blend together and this whole thing would go brown. Whoops. So see, you can see I got a little bit of my blue there bleeding into that yellow, and it's kind of forming a brownish gray. Oh well, you know, it happens. So now before I do anything else, I'm just going to let this sit and dry. And I definitely want to let it dry, because the next color I'm going to put over it is the black oil pastel, and I don't want that to run with my watercolors. My students love watching these turn from oil pastels to watercolor paint. All right, now that this is dry, now I'm going to go to my black oil pastel, and I'm going to start in the middle of this and work my way out. Or you could start at the top, and work your way down, because again, I don't want this black oil pastel to smear if I have to drag my hand across. So I'm actually going to kind of start in the middle top-ish. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, it's like a fuzzy line that I'm drawing. It'll look like this, like I'm coloring back and forth. It's kind of in the style of Jim Dine, right? So, oh, you can tell my oil pastel got on my table there. That's okay, I'll wipe it up later. So I'm going to take this, and over all of my black lines, I'm going to go back and forth like this. And just kind of make fuzzy lines. That's what I call them with my students. And these help divide up the shapes, as you can see. And I'm not just going to do it on the lines on the inside, I'm also going to do it on the lines on the outside. And that's why I wasn't really too concerned about my pencil lines. Whew, there we go. And there is my finished project. You could cut it out and put it on another color. I'm just going to leave it on my white paper. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson on color mixing and Jim Dine, and I will see you next time on Art Recycled. Bye.